Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke.
Glory to you, O Lord.
At that time, the tax collectors and sinners were all drawing near to hear Jesus, and the Pharisees and the scribes murmured, saying, "This man receives sinners and eats with them." So he told them this parable. There was a man who had 2 sons, and the younger of them said to his father, "Father, give me the share of my property that falls to me." And he divided the living between them. Not many days later, the younger son gathered all he had and took his journey into a far country, and there he squandered his property in loose living. And when he had spent everything, a great famine arose in that country, and he began to be in want. So he went and joined himself to one of the citizens of that country, who sent him into his fields to feed swine. And he would gladly have fed on the pods that the swine ate, and no one gave him anything. But when he came to himself, he said, "How many of my father's hired servants have bread enough and to spare? But I perish here with hunger. I will arise and go to my father, and I will say to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Treat me as one of your hired servants.' And he arose and came to his father. But while he was yet a distance, his father saw him and had compassion, and ran and embraced him and kissed him. And the son said to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son.' But the father said to his servants, 'Bring quickly the best robe and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand, and shoes on his feet. And bring the fatted calf and kill it, and let us eat and make merry. For this my son was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found.' And they began to make merry. Now his elder son was in the field, and as he came and drew near to the house, he heard music and dancing. And he called one of the servants and asked what this meant. And he said to him, 'Your brother hath come, and your father hath killed the fatted calf, because he has received him safe and sound.' But he was angry and refused to go in. His father came out and entreated him, but he answered his father, 'Behold, these many years I have served you, and I never disobeyed your command. Yet you never gave me a kid, that I might make merry with my friends. But when this son of yours came, who has devoured your living with harlots, you killed for him the fatted calf.' And he said to him, 'Son, you are always with me, and all that is mine is yours. It was fitting to make merry and be glad, for this your brother was dead and is alive. He was lost and is found.'" The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
My dear brothers and sisters in the Lord, today we celebrate the 4th Sunday of Lent, year C. The theme of my reflection is, you may never return. You may never return. The story of the prodigal son is a familiar story, and we read it every year, even in the course of the weekday masses and Sunday masses. And sometimes during our personal reflection, we read it, and so it becomes so familiar. But I would like us to look at it differently today, based on what I feel the Holy Spirit has inspired me to share with you. What I want us to reflect upon is how this younger son left home. The Word of God tells us in the Gospel of today, he decided on his own. He made up his mind on his own and left home and told his father, give me the share of what belongs to me. Nobody advised him to do that. Nobody deceived him. Nobody confused him. According to the Gospel of today, he took responsibility, made up his mind, went to his father, and the father obliged and gave him what he wanted. There was a seminarian who went out with his friends on their outing day, the day they were supposed to go out to be free to do their personal things. They went together with his friends and they went drinking alcohol. When it was time for them to come back to school, to the seminary, the friends found their way back home. Normally you should be in before the evening prayer, which is around 18 hours or 6 p.m. The friends found their way home. And one of them was stranded. And when it was time for the people, the owners of the bar, to close their bar, this person was still there. They tried to make him to leave. It was difficult and impossible for him to move. And so they searched his pocket and got his ID card and saw his address. And that is how they took him to where he lives, the seminary. And they took him drunk, dejected, and almost unconscious, and presented him to those in charge of him. Eventually, he was asked to discontinue his formation, that he should discontinue to become a priest. Before he left, he mentioned the names of his friends that they went out together. But those who are responsible say that is not their business. Their business is that you have been found wanting. We don't want to know those you went to drink with. We don't want to know the person who taught you how to drink. We don't want to know the person who told you to drink alcohol. What we know is that you have been found wanting, and so you are not worthy to continue. That was the end of his dream of becoming a priest. My dear brothers and sisters, if you go back to the book of Genesis, chapter 3, the story of the fall of man and woman, Adam and Eve. What happened when God asked the man, why did you commit this sin of eating the forbidden fruit I ask you not to eat, what did man say? It was the woman who gave me to eat. God asked the woman, why did you do this? Why did you deceive your husband? The woman said it was the serpent, the snake, that also deceived me. They refused to take responsibility because somebody introduced them to sin, to what they did. They never said sorry. Go and read the book of Genesis chapter 3. Adam and Eve did not say sorry to God. They were blaming somebody or something. And today, all of us are beneficiary, negatively, of the consequence of irresponsibility. From that day, God told man, before you will feed your family, you will suffer, you will toil, you will walk, you will sweat, and you will till the ground. He was talking to a farming community. You will till the soil to provide food for your family. And when you die, you'll be buried there on the same soil. And this is happening today. He told the woman, you'll be happy to be a mother. You'll be happy to have your baby. But before that will happen, you will suffer. You will suffer the pain of labor. And all of us know what that means, especially women who have given birth. Some even die in the process. Some lose blood in the process. Some never recover forever because of irresponsibility. My dear brothers and sisters, when you begin to blame people, when you allow people to mislead you, it will be difficult for you to return. Those who are capable of returning are those who take responsibility. You decide on your own, you will decide on your own to come back. But when people make you to do what you don't want to do, especially as an adult, you're already 18 years old, and you blame people for what you do wrong, it will be difficult for you to come back home. Judas Iscariot committed the same offense similar to that of Peter. Similar. The difference is that for Judas Iscariot, money was involved. You read the book of Matthew chapter 26 verse 15. Judas asked those who were sending him to betray Jesus, how much will you pay me if I hand him over to you? How much will you pay me? Judas Iscariot was asking those who are sending him to betray his friend, his master, his God. How much will you pay me? Matthew chapter 26 verse 15. Because of people, because of money, he became irresponsible and never returned. He never came back to Jesus to say sorry. He committed suicide. Peter took responsibility on his own, betrayed Jesus or denied Jesus, whatever you may call it. Nobody told Peter. Nobody deceived Peter. Peter was just afraid as a human being that this man is going, if I follow him, I will go with him. And he said, I do not know him. He denied Jesus 3 times, even before a little girl. But he was able to come back to say sorry. And nothing changed in his life. He remained Peter, he remained the head of the apostle. He took responsibility because no one deceived him from the beginning. Brothers and sisters, I was in a barber shop somewhere where there was a salon also, the same room. And while they were cutting my hair, some ladies were discussing in a language that I understood, vernacular. And one of them was happy to tell her friends that she is now going out with a married man. She was saying it with joy because the man had money. And one of them was asking her, how do you introduce me to another married man? And she offered to introduce her to the friend of her married friend. And it was like a nice story going around. It's a beautiful news, it's good news. And these girls are young girls. And I suspected that they were in the university or college, looking at the way they were talking. I don't know how the story ended. Who is introducing you to what you are doing? Who is teaching you evil? You may never return home like the prodigal son. Some young girls have destroyed marriages because somebody introduced them to married people. And they don't care. It's no longer a taboo. It's no longer an abomination. It's no longer a sin. Some will go in there and come back nicely and married properly. Some will go there and be hooked forever. You may never return home. Whatever you are doing, who is teaching you, especially what is wrong, who introduced you to take alcohol? Some of you will drink alcohol and become addicted. Even when you are told that your liver is finished, you cannot have the capacity to stop drinking. That's why people are sick, they still drink. Because the story, the beginning, was irresponsibility. You found a group of people in school. Do you know their story? Let me tell you something about life. Some people, their culture is synonymous to alcohol. If you go to some culture, people at the age of 2, children are given alcohol. At the age of 2. It's not your culture. You are not trained to take alcohol anywhere. At the age of 18, somebody is introducing you. At the age of 16, somebody is introducing you to alcohol that is not part of your life. That person that started taking alcohol at the age of 2 will reach 90 years with proper kidney and liver. And you, by the time you take for 3 years, your livers are dormant. Your kidneys are dead. Because you take it as if you are drinking water. You take it irresponsibly. And there's no going back. You will never return home. Even when they tell you that your kidney is dead, you open your mouth and swallow what is going to make it worse. You may never return home. And go back to the history of what is making you to do what you are doing. The prodigal son was able to come back because he decided on his own. There is that power of responsibility, not people telling me what to do. Because when people are not telling me what to do, I am able to say, I am sorry. Many a time, you commit an offense, you are called, and you begin to blame people. You begin to defend yourself. I'm not the only one who is doing it. It's very common to hear that. Others are doing it. So others have told you that because they are doing it, it is okay. People are committing crime, bribery, and corruption. When they catch them, they will say, Am I the only one who collects money, bribe? Am I the only one? So, what is abnormal becomes normal. You know, the difference between what has happened today in the life of the prodigal son is this. He came back home on his own and said, I am sorry. He didn't blame anybody. He didn't defend himself. He didn't justify anything. I have sinned against heaven and against you, my Father. And because of that, he enjoyed the mercy of God. You know, when you take decision alone, without people telling you what to do, whether it's right or wrong, especially what is wrong, you are able to also go back to your senses and reflect. But when 10 people are telling you to do what is wrong, you don't have the energy, you don't have the capacity to go, because by the time you are reflecting to say you are going to stop, they will call you on phone and give you why you should continue. Because they are the one that introduce you why you should continue. No, today I'm sick, I don't want to take alcohol. No, somebody's birthday, just take a bottle, it's okay. Because they are the one who introduce you. But if you introduce yourself, you tell yourself today, I'm not feeling well, I cannot take. The life of the prodigal son is not a privilege for many. Very few can enjoy that privilege of returning home safe and sound. Many ladies have gone out selling their body, prostituting. Some of them will come back home, no single disease. Some will come back with gonorrhea, with syphilis, with HIV, and with some diseases that has no name. And they begin to go from one church to another looking for answer to their problem. Not everybody will return home, okay. And so, whatever thing we are doing, let us be aware that we may never come back home. How many politicians have stolen money and are still enjoying their life? They are free. A lot of politicians have stolen government money in many countries in this world. Some of them are still celebrated. Their houses are still their houses. Their property are still their property. Everything they own belongs to them. Some will still own a Toyota Corolla and now they are in jail. Not everybody will return home. Only Toyota Corolla, Nyango. You'll be arrested, you'll be in jail for 5 years. But somebody else will steal 10 Jeep, Hilux, Land Cruiser, but he's enjoying his property till today. I don't want to look at the prodigal son as something that everybody will come back home. No. One, it depends on how did you begin the journey of evil. How did you begin the journey of satanism? How do you begin the journey of diabolical behavior? As human beings, I always remind people, some of us are apple of God's eye. We are untouchable. When you touch the apple of God's eye, you suffer the consequence. Some of us are demonic. Our life is full of demons and legion. And when you associate with demons and legion, you may never return home. And that is why you see a man can turn against his family. All of a sudden, turn against his wife, turn against his children, because he has associated with a small girl of 16 who is demon compact. And people begin to ask, what has gone wrong? A woman will abandon her family when she associates with a man that is full of demon. Everybody will begin to ask, what is wrong with this woman? She has a good man, she has a good husband. How can she abandon her family? Who do you associate with? Who do you share your body with? Who do you eat with? Where do you sleep? Do you know what is on that bed? Do you know what you are lying upon? Do you know the water you are bathing with? You just go to somebody's house and they give you water, you bath, and you come back a different person. You will never return home again, except by the grace of God. Because powers, principalities are fighting. And when powers are fighting, then solution is very difficult. When two powers are fighting, the solution is different. Our God is a jealous God. He will not allow any power to fight with him. So when you associate yourself with demonic powers, and that power now is fighting goodness that is in you, and God will leave you to suffer because he's a jealous God. And you think you are punishing somebody, you are punishing yourself. You may never return home. So brothers and sisters, especially those of us who are still young, listen to me and listen properly. Be careful who you associate with. Be careful what you are told. Be careful of doing what is not correct. Some of you are old, but you still go back home to consult your mother. Your wife is asking you to buy a television. You say, I'll ask my mother. So your mother will control you forever. That's why people can tell you what to do. People can tell you it's okay. Every man nowadays has a side chick. When the side chick has put you in trouble, then you remember the old man at home. Listen, my dear brothers and sisters, all of us need to come back home. And coming back home is responsibility. Coming back home is saying sorry. The prodigal son came back to say sorry. Don't be too proud. I have been talking about this. If that is the homily I have, every day let it be. I have been telling you that saying sorry is very important in your life. It's a powerful medicine that can solve a lot of problems. And people who do not say sorry, you will know that somebody is controlling them. Somebody is telling them something. How can I offend you so much? How can I make you to cry and I cannot say sorry? Which means somebody is telling me not to say sorry. Another power is telling me to fight the superpower, Jesus himself. How? The prodigal son took responsibility, committed the crime he has committed. He was able to come back and say sorry. And now the family is reconciled. Pride. The problem of Adam and Eve, pride. The problem of Judas, pride. Because somebody controlled them to do what they were doing. And pride will make you not to see for a long time. And some of us have been blind for many years. I don't know how long we'll be blind. Are you going to die in this state? Are you going to die in this condition? Are you going to die without coming back home? Life is not the way we do it. So let us go back to ourselves. Let us go back to history. Where did I start the journey of evil? Some people, jealousy has deteriorated to murder. They have killed, physically killed somebody because of jealousy. How does it start? Envy. I cannot get what you have. I am not as intelligent as you are. I have not been successful as you are. And so what do? I start to envy you. To envy is not to admire. When you admire somebody, you want to be like the person positively. You want to work hard. But when you envy, you want to get what the person has. By hook or by crook. And when you don't get, you start talking. She is rich because she is sleeping with men. She bought this car because she is a Satanist. She has this house because she has stolen government money. And you don't know anything about the source of her wealth. This woman will travel to Kafumbalesa, sleep outside, work hard, get small money, she will put in the account. You are sleeping like hippopotamus from morning till night. She will go tomorrow to Nakonde, buy goat, take to Nakonde border, sell, come back. Buy 20 pockets of cement, start a building. You are sleeping like an elephant that is about to die. Just don't know what this person is doing. Tomorrow when she builds her house, she's a Satanist. That is what jealousy can do. Then the next time you go out to drink with her, what do? You put poison in her beer and you kill. You may never return home. When you learn to become envious, when you learn to become jealous of people's success, you end up becoming a murderer. So brothers and sisters, it's time to return home. Each of us know what is taking us away from home. Home is not a place. Home is a state of life. And the final destination of home is, I am sorry, to God and to man. May God bless you through Christ our Lord.